on the three generals that you are talking about.
Right.
Now, your assistant keeps on engaging you when I speak. When you speak, she doesn't engage you. The impression I'm getting is that my response is not important, but what you say to me is important. And I have a problem with that. I did not have any particular meeting with General Khumalo, no, General Masimula, General Mkhwanazi, and General Khumalo.
And what is missing from this response is any meeting or engagement with either the National Commissioner or Mkhwanazi or Khumalo about the political killings task team. And is there a mistake? Because it doesn't accord with what you told us yesterday and what you are insisting on today, that you discuss this matter at least with the National Commissioner. You seem to today even not to be saying you discussed it ever with Mkhwanazi or Khumalo.
If the letter...
And there's nothing in this response which says that you consulted or had a meeting one-on-one with the National Commissioner about the allegations concerning the task team. This is what this says.
I didn't discuss the directives with anyone, including...
No, we accept that. I'm not going to argue with you about whether or not you had the prerogative or the right to issue the directive. I'm discussing what informs the directive, and we've been through the directive. There's two reasons that's apparent from the directive. You then also mentioned that there's other reasons that inform the directive. You've mentioned that you have a full opportunity of explaining that to the committee. I'm asking specifically about discussing your reasons for wanting the task team terminated with the National Commissioner and with Mkhwanazi and Khumalo.
Now, I have indicated many times yesterday, I did, that the directives were an accumulation of issues that we had been discussing and things that had been things that I'd been getting to know in the department. In other words, when I was appointed, I didn't just settle on the 31st. There were many discussions. There were many things that I read and that I got to know in the process before. So they were, and throughout the period, I've been discussing with all the people that are involved, but not with the intention that one day I would write a letter of directives. So it's absolutely not correct to say I had not discussed with this. And on the three generals that you are talking about,
right.
Now, your assistant keeps on engaging you when I speak. When you speak, she doesn't engage you. I don't engage with anyone.
No, sorry. Yeah. My apologies, Minister. You're right. You should be.
Okay. So the impression I'm getting is that my response is not important, but what you say to me is important. And I have a problem with that. So I'm saying, I did say yesterday, I did not have any particular meeting with General Khumalo, no, General Masimula, General Mkhwanazi, and General Khumalo. And in a day focusing on the National Political Killings Task Team. There's no such. But discussions include that fall within all the terms of reference. And discussions about this did take place in the meetings that we had. One of them is on the 1st of November. One of them is on, I think, the 22nd of November, the minutes of which I didn't get. I'm still seeking. So it's not like I never had any discussion with anyone on the matters. These are challenges that are within SAPS. These are challenges that we've been discussing. These are challenges that everybody in the top management of SAPS is aware of and have been discussed, but not with a view to writing directives. Those are mine, and those I sat down to think about, and I came up with them, as I say.
Minister, despite the fact that you held a meeting with your deputy ministers to discuss the allegations and other issues in the South African police.
Yes.
Despite the fact that there was a decision taken, according to this note, at that meeting, yes, that the minister would engage the National Commissioner on the concerns regarding the allegations. Despite the fact that your lawyers write on the 22nd of November that there was a meeting.
Yes.
Between the ministry, the National Commission, and all the senior police, you never discussed the task team. This is is this note wrong? Is there a mistake? Because it doesn't accord with what you told us yesterday and what you are insisting on today, that you discuss this matter at least with the National Commissioner. You seem to today even not to be saying you discussed it ever with Nkonazi or Khumalo.
If the letter does not necessarily pick up the meeting of the 1st of November and the meeting of the 22nd, it doesn't mean that it didn't exist. It doesn't mean that it never happened. And it doesn't mean that we never discussed it. It just means that there was an omission in the letter.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm not referencing the letter at all. I'm referencing a response that was given to us as evidence leaders by your lawyers on the 1st of October. And there's nothing in this response which says that you consulted or had a meeting one-on-one with the National Commissioner about the allegations concerning the task team. This is what this says. The other thing also, I might as well, while I raise this, that the note also doesn't say is that, and by the way, this team operated illegally since 2022, because you know what, in terms of a 2019 work study, you know, this is just a temporary task team, and I had full authority under the Constitution and the Police Act to disband it. That's also not what this is. That is what I'm asking you about. So I'm asking you, is that an oversight? Is that not what your instructions were? Can you tell us why is there a discrepancy between your evidence of yesterday and today and this note which comes from your lawyers?
Well, I don't have sight of your letter in terms of what you wanted from us by the 31st. But even if I have, if there was an omission, I'm ready to admit that there would have been an omission. But today, I have a submission. That I've made to the ad hoc committee, and I've included everything that is at my disposal, understanding fully that I'm in front of the ad hoc commission, and we've done work with the lawyers. We've already pointed at some of the discrepancies anyway in the letters and all of that during some earlier submissions. And I have no problem with that. It would mean that it would have been a discrepancy. But we're in the ad hoc committee, and I've tried my best to remember everything. That includes, by the way, even matters that you didn't ask us to bring to your attention at the time that you demanded or you requested information, which I will make available in the course of this engagement with the ad hoc committee, even though you didn't ask for those. And I'm sure you'll understand and bear with us if there is any discrepancy.
Well, quite frankly, that doesn't matter whether we ask for it or not. When you have an opportunity, I'll read our letter to your lawyers now, but the response is a detailed response from your lawyers.
Today,
it's a detailed response, and you have it in front of you. It's on page 6 of Exhibit Bundle 4. And I'd be, and especially that I also happen to know and have huge regard for your lawyers who are advising you in this matter, that they wouldn't mention. They don't mention anything about having a consultation with the National Commissioner. This is what we asked. Request for information. It is dated, what's the date? Yeah. It's dated, request for information, the date, time, and people who attended the briefing or briefings to the Minister on the political killings task team. We mentioned time of the meeting. There was one it's 21 November, we met with the deputy ministers. The affidavit, the affidavit submitted by the minister to the ethics committee, which we will have a look at in respect to the 5th March committee hearing. The evidence leaders first requested this information on 12 September 2025. Request for written responses. What, in the minister's understanding, is the constitutional role of the Minister of Police as against the National Commission, which has been explained. A chronology and summary of the complaints received in respect of the PKTT and, where possible, documentary evidence of such complaint. You've got the Haas, you've got Mashale, you've got Adams, all those things. Were these complaints directed to the relevant persons, and were they given an opportunity to respond or address the complaints? If so, who are the persons to whom the complaints were directed? We talk about Nkabindi's letter to IDEC and the referral of the complaint. Did General Nkonazi make an attempt to contact you after the directive that you issued on 31 December 2024? So those are the questions that we asked, and these are the responses. And what is missing from this response is any meeting or engagement with either the National Commissioner or Nkonazi or Khumalo about the political killings task team and your concerns about it, which has by now already been informed by Dahas, Mashale. You had a meeting with your deputies on the 21st of November. You talk about a decision, not even a suggestion. A decision was taken by you and your deputy ministers that you would engage the National Commission. And you didn't. Or are you saying you did, but it's now missing from this response from your lawyers?
Now, I want to repeat in my response that if I didn't include, or we didn't include in our response to you, any issue, for instance, about the decision that we took or the resolution that we took, it does not mean that we did not resolve, as I say in this submission to the ad hoc committee. We did resolve in the manner that I'm saying in my affidavit today. If it was omitted there, it means there was an oversight. That's number one. Number two, if we didn't include the meeting of the 21st and the 22nd, it would mean that it was an omission, or it would mean that we were still trying to get information on that. But we always knew that that discussion did take place, but we just had to submit evidence to you to say we did have a discussion, even if it was not a day, even if it was not with the three generals, but we did have a meeting or meetings that we discussed, and we've shown evidence, we've given you evidence of the meeting of the 21st. And we say there was another meeting. We may not necessarily have access to that in terms of documents, but it did take place, and it is true that it did take place. Now,
this is not quite a court case, so I'm not going to engage you any further. I've put to you from our side what our understanding is from the evidence that's been led so far. You've given your version. I'm just going to leave it there, okay?